And I'm calling fellow Kenyans. Actually, we should be saying, we should be voting there. Ruto and the Gachagua must go. Not actually voting the motion for, we write Ruto and the Gachagua must go. And if possible, Ruto ×2 must go. That's what we are supposed to be when we are going to do the public participation. That's what we need to do. Because he doesn't understand that he's trying anajaribu kukata mti akiwa amekalia. That's being stupid of him. I'm sorry to say that. It's a wrong word to use, but it's the actual thing to say. So let him just go sit down and think again. And with these people who are trying to tell him that they can dare do such things for the Kenyans, so that we can start war amongst ourselves. Kenyans are wise now. We are not going to turn against our neighbors. We are going to go for him and throw him out of the state house and get our country back. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. May God bless us. May we stay vigilant, Kenyans. And also I call upon Kenyans. If possible, we are all employees and we are suffering under this SHA. There's something we can never play about. You can joke about anything else. But when it comes to matters of health, I want to remind you that you should never give anyone an opportunity. Actually, that's suicidal. Allowing somebody to play around with your money, allowing somebody opportunity to play with your health. Remember, when you are getting sick, when you are about to get sick, the disease doesn't knock at your doorstep and tell you, I'll be coming tomorrow. Anytime, any moment, anything can happen. So, if there's something that no one is supposed to play around with it, it's your health. And I think the first time I had physically and saw it, a word coming out of the president, which was bad, is when he was saying our youths, when we entered in the parliament, they committed treasoners. And I want to tell Mr. Ruto, he is the guy who has been committing treasoners acts in this country. And he need to revoke whatever he is trying to say, saying that people committed treason. Actually, you need to apologize to Kenyans because they are not taking this very light. And we are going to move it to the next level as we also fight for our health. We cannot allow him to continue actually exposing us to death, which is physically we can see with our monies, him actually robbing our money. We need better health. We need the NHF to continue treating us. Thank you so much, and may God bless us. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your thoughts, Josephine. And I'd like to hear from Julius. So today was public participation in regards to the impeachment motion. Could you walk us through the process of public participation? What happens? Because now there are people on the space who have complained that during other motions that were being tabled in Parliament, they didn't see or feel that there was the public participation part. How would you, please take us through the process of public participation. Julius.
Thank you, Priscilla. First of all, I like what the previous speaker said, because whatever she has said reflects the current mood in the country. It is rather very sad, as a matter of personal opinion, that we have a crisis in our education system. There's the new funding model, which is a problem. There's the dark Adani deal, which everyone doesn't want to hear about. There was what we heard about the edible oil scandal, and then all these things, and yet what has become a priority is what is before us today, the impeachment. So public participation is one of the core values and principles that is enshrined under our Constitution of Kenya 2010. It is provided for under Article 10 of the Constitution, and as well also reflected under Article 181 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. So public participation simply means that before the state takes any decision that will affect us, they have to come to us as the citizens, as the stakeholders, seek for our opinion, listen to what we say, and then make decisions based on what we have said. It is basically, I would call it basically a vehicle where the citizens are allowed to express their concerns, fears, and demands in order to cater for their own interests. So public participation does not mean that each and every one of us the 50 million Kenyan of us must be heard. Simply means that the majority will have to present whatever it is that they say. And at the end of the day, the majority must have their way and the minority will have their say. So public participation, again, must enshrine the following key things. Number one, there ought to be inclusivity. There is no way you can undertake public participation in Nairobi alone, whereas it is the National Assembly that is bringing a new law. And this law is going to affect each and everyone in the country. So inclusivity is a key factor insofar as public participation is concerned. There is also the issue of sufficient notice of the nature of the decision. For example, the Parliament has given notice telling us to go and give our opinion on whether we want the Deputy President to be impeached. But I don't think the notice was sufficient because the notice was issued the other day. They want all of us to have cleared with the public participation by Friday, the 4th of October. So there was no sufficient notice if I was asked. Number three, public participation must be meaningful and done in good faith, and not what we are seeing in this impeachment. Because what we are seeing are forms that are being given to people to tick. So you either have to tick whether you want Gachagua to be impeached or not. Then you are given reason as to why this member of parliament wants to impeach Gachagua, and you have to agree with reason number 1. If not, leave it. Reason number 2 up to reason number 5, and then give any other reason that you think is sufficient for Gachagua to be impeached. That, in me, does not reflect good faith and meaningfulness. So those are the key aspects that a public body carrying out public participation must look into.
Thank you so much for that, Julius. Thank you for the clarification. But before I let you go, I'd like to know, so how do they quantify that the public participation, the public have accepted the motion or the public have not accepted the motion? How do they quantify that?
That's a good question. What courts have said before is, before you make that decision, there are memorandums that are sent from the public. There are letters that are sent from the public. So in order to quantify the general mood of the public, those who say yes must be the majority. But we have seen Parliament doing the direct opposite before. For example, during the finance bill, most of the people said no to the finance bill, but Parliament went ahead to enact the said laws. Therefore, what the court has said before is, you must look at what the mood of the public is. What are they saying? It's not about just carrying out public participation and coming to say that a public participation was carried out and the views of these people were not taken into concern. So you must listen to what the people say, and that is what must carry the day. It's not a matter of we went, we listened, they talked, and we are here. It's a matter of what have they said, what do they want. It is what they want that we must do.
Thank you so much, Julius, for that clarification. So now public participation happened today, and then the readings will continue going on in the course of next week. I'd like to hear from Kiprotich. So if the Senate votes yes for the impeachment, what are the next steps after that? How long can a country stay without a deputy president, and whose mandate is it for them to look for a deputy president if it goes through? And then if it doesn't go through, this whole process, itaisha tu hivyo. Kiprotich?
Yes, come again. Sorry.
So the entire process has gone on, the public participation, and then at the end of it, we'll know if the deputy president is going to be impeached or not. So if he's impeached, what are the next steps? If he's not impeached, I process yote itaenda tu hivyo.
Oh yeah, yes. The way the law has been designed in the Constitution, once the process has been undertaken in the Senate, and the Senate votes now to impeach the president. I mean, the deputy president. The deputy president, of course, will cease to hold office from that moment. However, just like we have seen, the Senate is not an end in itself, because the decision of the Senate can still be subjected to interpretation by the courts. So, the deputy president or the person who has been impeached can still challenge the decision in court. Like we have seen for the governors, they can raise several issues. They can raise several issues, of course, touching on the proceedings and the formalities of the proceedings that happen in the Senate. And from these issues, the court can grant a stay of the decision of the Senate, like it has happened in the case of the gracious lady from Meru County, Governor Kawera. But having said that, this is a novel thing to our country. I don't think in the history of our country we have had a situation where we have had to impeach either the president or the deputy president. And that is why I was like, when I began, I stated that these are constitutionalism processes. If for nothing else, good country men and women, these things will show us, the depths and widths of our constitution. It will create jurisprudence in the whole of this thing. It will create the path now that will be followed in case there will be things to come later. So yes, the decision of the Senate may not be an end in itself. Ideally, in the ideal sense of the word, if the deputy or the outcome of the Senate is not challenged by the deputy president, of course, that will mark the end. The deputy president will cease to hold office, and thereafter the president will now choose another person to hold that office. The law provides that as long as that person meets the provisions of the Constitution regarding especially Chapter 6 on leadership and integrity, and that person will serve now will assume the office of the deputy president. If at this stage, how many years are remaining before the election? We are now at 20. The next election is on 3 years to go. 2.5 years to go, right?
Yeah, if the bill to extend the term to 2 years doesn't pass.
Yes, of course. If the bill doesn't pass, and of course, if that one was to pass, I don't think it will affect probably. But anyway, I don't want to go into that one. If there will still be more than 2.5 years remaining before the date of the next election, which clearly there still are some 2.5 more years to go, then the new person who will be occupying the office of the deputy president will be deemed to have served a full term, and the consequence of that is that you cannot serve more than 2 terms as a deputy president. So if the impeachment proceedings were to go to full length and the deputy president was to be impeached, then the remaining time, the person who will come in thereafter will be adjudged to have served a full term, so that if they were to get the next term together, he will not now be allowed to have to hold any other term as a deputy president. Yes. So basically, the proceedings of the Senate, if it culminates in the impeachment of the president, as per the law, that will be the end of it. But practically, there could be some still more matters arising from the court that will delay the process further. Like if you can remember what happened in Governor Wambora's case, the matter went all the way to Supreme Court, and Supreme Court can still find fault in the process of the impeachment at the Senate, and can still return the president back. I mean, the impeached deputy president back to his seat. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Celia, maybe just to add something.
Okay.
Once assuming Rigathi Gachagua is impeached, then and there is no court process, he decides to let it go. Then Article 149 provides that the president shall have 2 weeks to appoint any other person, and then the difference between this new person and Rigathi Gachagua will be that this new person must go through Parliament, and Parliament must approve before the president, before now IBC, or rather he can take now oath of office as the deputy president.
Yes. That is right. That's correct.
Thank you so much for the clarification. Let me read a few comments that are on the space, and also now open the floor to the people who are on the speakers panel. As I had mentioned earlier, kindly keep your comment as short as possible so that everyone can get a chance to air out their comments.